Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are watching the absolute state of VTubing in 2026. Yes, 2026 and VTubing. So we're probably going to be hearing about the OnlyFans epidemic that is happening in VTubing, basically, and potentially more drama, basically. Because that's all that's happening here right now, nowadays, you know? But let's find out.
VTubing is ruined. What happened to VTubers?
Oh, those are questions, okay.
Why is VTubing so negative now? It's a sincere question that you might have asked, especially if you came into the industry back in its early establishment. And it's a question laced with negativity, usually. If you've been around since like 2020,
I've been there since 2020. The question is, why is it so crap nowadays? Yes.
2019, you might have a fond memory of what it represented.
Oh,
It was
I
a time
remember
when it was magical,
2019.
it was fresh. Everything was glittering with inspiration and creativity. You felt emotions you've never felt before, a space to enjoy and escape from the real world that was breathing down your neck. But now? Well, it just seems like many places are on fire and it's hard to ignore the screaming in the background. And it's usually the same cycle. First comes venting, then callouts, then vague posting, then politics, high school level drama, every single week. It's gotten to a point that I'm getting tired of it. Me, a fucking slop-eating, slop-making retard. We have VTuber.
Bro, imagine Nosagi, the guy that's been literally living drama of VTubing since he literally became like a content creator, is getting tired of this BS. That's actually insane.
Themselves reminiscing about the good times, pondering what happened. Somewhere in 2020 and 2026, a poison was dropped in the well. Something that cascaded the industry into this messy dumpster fire that, despite its many ups and downs, many people still call home. So, what happened? But before we continue, may I interest you in other videos not meant for the peasants to see? In that case, I'd recommend you join my channel memberships or my Patreon.
I love the fact that he's doing an ad already.
As well as
May I interest you, you the person watching, in subscribing and maybe commenting down below what you think about the current state of VTubing as well, you know? I'm gonna do a little bit of an ad myself.
censored versions of certain content, all ad-free. And besides, you help me keep creating bangers like these in the long term with your support. So if you have some spare change for a cup of coffee every month or something, consider giving it to me instead. Anyway, that's all. Thank you, and let's go back to the video. Let's make things clear first. Since 2020, where a lot of traditional fans became fans, the scene has always been plagued with a lot of negativity and drama and tribalistic behavior, especially from Hololive fans and Nijisanji fans.
Yeah, the great Hololive Nijisanji wars, basically. Well, not really great and not really wars. It was just a bunch of fans being like, oh, I don't like them. And that's mostly the Niji fans, pretty much. And I mean, Hololive fans have also a bunch of, like, you know, stuff behind their back as well, you know, the unicorns. But that's on both sides. Unicorns are on both sides.
During those days, stuff happened, like Yozoramel harassed in the workspace, Mano Aloe's graduation exploding in Hololive's face, Capcom intentionally targeting Hololive for not getting proper permissions for their games, Hololive fans being skeptical of English, the Keryo Coco Taiwan incident, Hololive China being dissolved, and the political shenanigans that came from.
Oh, I remember Hololive China. Those that's history. That's history.
Mori Caliope's Lean incident, Mori Caliope's Connor incident, Mori Calliope being baited by the trolls incident, Mori Calliope's Gura incident. There was a lot of Mori Calliope drama. Heck, even outside Hololive, we had the voice replacement incident of Kizuna Ai, the King Yuzaka Mero versus Yuzuki Rua civil war, Project Melody's VTuber model getting copyright struck by the modeler. I could name a lot more, but most of the drama, I'm gonna wager, you haven't really heard of, especially the smaller ones. Or you might even think that it wasn't that big of a deal. But even despite all this negativity,
honestly, it wasn't that big of a deal. My personal opinion. Like, literally, most of the drama back in the day was pretty much mostly, like, surrounding corpo VTubers. So it was like, it literally flew over your head when you're, like, indie. Unless you're, like, very interested in that. Or you're, like, a drama channel, you know? There would be like, okay, I'm perceiving, you know, I'm perceiving.
There was a massive upside. People chose not to focus on the drama too much and the negativity, including myself. because VTubing was so magical, it incited a lot of very deep and positive emotions.
Yeah.
It inspired so much creativity and will that the fact that there
Honestly, he has a point here. Like, I'm having very hard time watching VTubers nowadays, and I do mean it. Like, I don't know if I'm just aging. It might be me aging. I might be a boomer, you know, at this point, you know. But like back in 2020, when I was watching VTubers, like even like corporate VTubers, indie VTubers, I was like, yeah, happy, having fun. And nowadays, I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, okay, tired. And I mean, there are like nowadays I mostly engage myself with either like VTubers that I like or karaoke VTubers. Like I specifically just go out of my way just to like enter a VTuber that does karaoke stream, and I'm like listening, vibing, you know, because like VTubers are talented, you know, that's the thing, and I just enjoy talented people. But then when it's like gaming or like chatting, I'm like there on the side, just like maybe sometimes interacting, sometimes not. It depends, honestly. Like I tend to be more of a lurker nowadays than you know, the type of person that interacts.
were a lot of drama was almost brushed under the rug. In this once small bubble, the positivity overpowered the negativity, even while that negativity was happening during its peak. But as the magic of VTubing slowly disappeared, as the freshness faded and the industry expanded, that positive energy also went away. The honeymoon period being over left fans roiling in the negativity that remains. But a few people might not see it that way, especially the newcomers. I hear a lot of opinions about why VTubing became the way that it is, whether or not they prefer it. VTubers focused so much on the streamer aspect rather than the character part. I interpreted this as a lot of newcomers focusing too much on the business rather than the fun, becoming overall a well-oiled machine rather than an entertainer. And on the other end of the spectrum, we have tweets like this from JoeCat saying that VTubing is becoming better because everyone is slowly shedding the idol culture parts of the medium. So which is it? Is VTubing becoming worse or getting better?
Okay, see, I see both sides of the coin here, because like I understand that the character people being in character makes the experience more magical and more entertaining and more fun, in my opinion. But that requires a lot of energy. That's for one. For two, that requires money. Money talks, you know. Without certain amounts of funds, you will not be like your average person that does VTubing like indie will not give a damn about being in character a lot. If there is money to be made by being in character, oh boy, I'm telling you, people will be in character 24/7. Like it's honestly a money issue as well. But like at the same time, I'd say that there needs to be a balance between like, you know, the being in character and being yourself, you know. Because if you're constantly like, let's like, you know, you have to have the mix of I am the character, but at the same time the character is kind of like me, you know, so you don't literally burn yourself out being the character 24/7. So you need to adapt some aspects of yourself into the character, but also you need to adapt yourself to present the character in a certain way that you actually want to present the character during the time you produce the content, which is like, you know, during live stream or during, you know, video making process, whatever, literally. At the same time, like Joker has a point that some aspects of the idol culture are very negative. Like, for example, it took us goddamn 6 years for people to be like start talking relationships and be like open about it. It took us 6 years to get here. So yeah, that's one of the points. Like, you know, and also like the fact that the idol culture aspect has been around for so long in VTubing, that just made like the Schizo fans just more normalized, I guess, in a way. There are some other points. I don't really care much about them, but that, like those are like two bigger points I would say that are part of like the, you know, negativity of idol culture within VTubing. Let's continue the video.
Obviously, your answer will ultimately depend on factors like when you became interested in VTubing and entered the industry, and who your favorite creators are, and if you are a creator yourself, what kind of creator you wanna be. And as you can surmise from the title, I am leaning towards the former. especially because I am a traditional VTuber fan, who mostly watches VTubers that associate more with the JP adjacent culture rather than the English Twitch streamer culture. And from my thinking, I have created a model that encapsulates why VTubing has become the way that it is.
The 4Ds, the dick, division, drama.
I call it the 4Ds: difficulty, disillusionment, division, and drama. I think this is the loop that made VTubing the way that it is, and wherever you might have started falling into the piece here, I've noticed that it always happens in this order. So let me break it down. As VTubing expanded, there became more viewers, more money to harvest, but also more competition. There became less things to try and innovate on. Back then, when there were few VTubers,
and nowadays they go to, oh, okay, I remember this stream. But yeah, back in the days, what you would do is you would do React content. What do you do nowadays? You still do React content when you're indie. When you're like a, you know, more of a corporate tuber, you're not allowed to do React. Unless you're in Face Connect, then you can. But like, back in the days when you're in like a corp, like, you know, Niji, Sanji, or like, you know, Hololive, yeah, only things you can do is like just chatting and maybe something fun and gaming. And then you also have karaoke. So that's like, you know, that's the whole range of content you are allowed to do, basically. And maybe you can have some fun side projects like, you know, art streams here and there, something voice acting related. You know, like you have the infamous voice acting of, you know, Vox Akuma, basically. His ASMRs, you know. Yeah. Let's continue.
innovation and even unique character design
I wish
elements
I had
and gimmicks.
Pardon me for a moment. I wish I had like a giant button that I can just smash for it to, like, you know, start the video back again, instead of like me smashing my space button.
Were easier to do because the space was emptier. There were still lots of strats and undiscovered niches, but now a lot of niches has been filled. Standing out has become a lot more difficult. This bred a bit of desperation, a sense of defensiveness or insecurity.
Honestly, there's so many VTubers nowadays that I don't really like know many people anymore. Like, I've seen, like, there are some people that I've seen around since forever, and I'm like, oh, I know this guy. He's been around here since 2021. Ah, he's doing great nowadays. That's good. And then I see people like that are like blowing up out of nowhere, and I'm like, who the hell are you? And then I check their YouTube channel, and I'm like, you do React content. Makes sense. And then I just go on.
Own content, design, and even fans. We saw a small glimpse of this behavior from multiple big VTubers when the Cinder incident happened. When VTubing became big, it started to get more difficult to create content that could retain your viewers while also attracting more.
Yeah.
This might not be the case for a lot of the bigger already established.
Like, yeah, it's not the case for like major VTubers like Iron Mouse, like some other content creators that are like big, but like the funny thing is, I can like present you the situation with male VTubers. Pardon me. You have the certain amount of audience that male VTubers can, you know, get. Very limited. Very, very limited, you know? So, everything like that goes to the top, basically. Literally, everything like that goes to the top. Like, and then there's also, like, the male VTuber split of, like, you know, the regular and then femboy. And then, like, maybe himbo sometimes. So you can like split it like 3 ways, whatever, basically. And everything else that just like doesn't like, you know, everybody else is like at the top, and then it's like, you know, the viewers are like at the top and like viewing, and they don't like what they see at the top. They will probably like find something down the middle, right? And then the scraps literally go down, like scraps that get banned literally go to the bottom. so that's actually like how it works for male VTubers. For female VTubers, it's like better because like, what you need is basically expose people to you, basically. Because, like, let's be honest, internet is a male-dominated space. And sex appeal sells. Sex appeal sells in 2026. I'm saying that, you know? So, in this case, like, for female VTubers, that's why you have, like, so many OnlyFans VTubers. Because, well, money and sex appeal and money and men, more men, a lot of men, you know, like female VTubers, like sometimes you see them like them post on Twitter like where are girls at like female VTubers showing that they only have like 1% of their audience being female, right? And like I mean, most of the time it's like very wholesome, family friendly VTubers, right? They exist, okay. Family friendly not so much, but wholesome VTubers do exist, okay. And explanation for that is VTubing is dominated by men. And I don't mean like dominated as in dominated as a content type, but more so dominated as in the audience. Like, if you cannot appeal to men, you are literally like scrapping the barrel. And if you do appeal to women, good for you. You have a bunch of fujoshis, basically.
Creators, but it is the case for most of the creators that want.
And I bet, like, if somebody is here listening to this, there's a VTuber, somebody's going to say some blah, 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 sexist, blah, blah, you make trash content, blah, blah. Like, no, those are just facts of, like, the industry nowadays, you know? Like, I'm not saying, oh, I blame my lack of success because there's, you know, men. Fuck that. I don't care. I don't care who watches. You can literally be transgender and be watching that, like... You know, like that is like the lowest amount of population there is on the planet, literally. So like, and I'm not trying to discriminate like against transgender people. Like, I don't care what you do with your body, okay? But like, you can be whoever you want, and I don't care. I'm just a trash content creator. that's the matter of fact, you know.
To climb the
Let's
ladder,
continue.
and believe me, there was a lot. Without the support of something like Hololive, how the
I remember this VTuber. She no longer VTubes, I think. Did she graduate? Okay, comment down below if you know who this is, you know? Because I know she was one of, like, the side corp or VTuber things. And I remember watching, like, some of her streams once, but I don't know her name anymore. And I'm not sure if she did graduate in the end. I think she did.
hell were you supposed to grow your own brand? This was when a lot of new agencies popped up, led by people with mysterious background and probably almost zero business experience, and they promised you a little bit of what Hololive does, but without the glam and pre-established numbers. Some VTubers join these agencies, but normally, they are short-lived because a lot of them collapse in the most miserable yet spectacular way. It's a miracle if they just die peacefully and...
Oh, remember V4 Allure, you know, wait, V4 Allure. I like how I mistaken V4 Mirai with VLR. Bloody hell, there's so many corporations that do VTubers. VLR, you remember that one? It died 1 month ago.
You know, without...
Wait, 1 month ago? May, June... 2 months ago! 2 months ago, okay.
Whether these incidents happen because the CEO was a sex pest, or the genmates were schizophrenic that it ruins the company from the inside, or, you know, maybe just the simple but innocent CEO is not that good at business. Lots of things could go wrong behind the scenes, and it could genuinely affect how some of these VTubers see the industry. But let's say you're just an indie that didn't need an agency but needed a bit of help. Perhaps the aid of a third-party company or solo managers was the way to go. But then turns out, you end up being scammed or being sex pest.
Yeah. I feel sorry for Amelie. Like, she literally, like, ends up in, like, bunch of, like, you know... Like, she does something bad happens. She does something, wow. Like, we think it's going to be great, something bad happens. Like, she's so unlucky. I feel bad for her.
Seems to be a common occurrence here for some reason. But when agencies and companies weren't enough, some people started to do interesting things. Without the support of an agency, the strat for a lot of VTubers was to be active on Twitter and engage with fans and nerd stuff before debuting themselves. At first, this was a success, with one of the more notable examples being Artemis of the Blue. But then some of these people...
Pardon me, but who? I have no idea who this is.
...started bitching and whining about the lack of success, instead of, you know, actually streaming and putting...
My favorite part, the V-tweeters. It's just like, I did the debut. I got 50 viewers, and then it all dropped down to 2. Wow. I did stream yesterday. I had completely 0 viewers, by the way, and I just enjoyed my fucking self. Like, I literally did like 1 hour and a couple of minutes more than little bit more than a 1 hour stream of like me playing Gildren with a bunch of lag basically because my PC is a complete piece of shit. But I did enjoy myself. so you know, like whenever I'm like streaming on Twitch, I'm never thinking I'm gonna get viewers and follows and shit. I'm staying at 6-7 follows on Twitch. I'm telling you. But like, if I do stream on Twitch, it's either I'm gonna make something out of it and make content for YouTube, maybe. Like, if I ever do like bunch of reacting on Twitch, then I might do content on YouTube. Or I'm just gonna enjoy myself, because like, there's no bloody way I'm getting money from Twitch, because I don't even want to be monetized on Twitch. Like, I had partner I had affiliate status on Twitch 3 bloody times already, on 3 different channels. And all of them I was like, and all of them I did give up my affiliate status on. That's one thing. Second thing is, on all of them I was like streaming, but then at some point I was just like, I don't feel like streaming anymore, and I was dead. You know, I was dead.
Effort and researching what they want to do. These permanent debut TBA creators would be called VTweeters, and I mentioned them because a lot of the negativity and drama that happens in the industry is on Twitter, and
yeah, it is on Twitter because you have a bunch of people like farming content on Twitter basically. I mean, drama farming, literally rage baiting, you know?
It's caused by VTweeters and tweets in general, regardless if they were VTweeters or not. But some of them actually started grinding, and some would even implement a few less than ethical tactics. At first, it was relatively subtle, like copying design elements, sometimes intentionally to leak.
What did they do? You look nothing like Hackle's Bells. You're a cheap copy.
Off of one of the popular ones, sometimes unintentionally. Not to leech, but because they found it to be a cool design gimmick, or because they looked up to the VTuber, or sometimes 2 different minds just come up with the same design or gimmick at the same time. But then it started to escalate. People started aggressively collabing with other VTubers, not to foster friendships, but to borrow their platform or...
Oh, my favorite part of content creation, collabs, yes. We should all be friends, we should all collab together. And then one of them actually in the end gets all of the viewers. And all of them, the other ones will just like, you know, end up somewhere. Don't know where.
Organize their own network, having their fingers on a bit of everyone's pie. They would pretend to be fans or supportive, slowly worming their way to that creator's circle, pestering them, not really even considering them as friends, but more so jumping pads just so they can leech off of them a little bit.
I mean, okay, no, because he's literally talking about how content creation worked since money became a part of content creation. And I do mean it. Like, people becoming friends and collaborating with other people just to like gain more exposure, I guess would be the way to say it, just to like increase the size of their own personal platform, is literally like how content creation been functioning since forever. I mean, ages ago, back in like the Minecraft days of YouTube, like you know, Minecraft days of YouTube, that's 2014, 2012, you know, that sort of time. You had like genuine groups of like friends getting together and creating content together, and they all grew together because they literally created content together, you know, like it was more fun, and there was less money to be had. But nowadays, because of the fact that especially in VTubing, there's limited number of you, the viewer, right? People will be fighting over you because there's a limited number of you, and that's the thing here. That's why you have collabs, and that's why like my personal opinion of collabs is like very negative as well, because it's like, okay, so one of us is going to gain stuff. Which one of us is going to gain stuff? That is the question here. You know, like I think I've never been on a collab willingly. Yeah, I've never been on a collab willingly, I do have to say. Like, sometimes I had, like, friends to say to me, oh, yeah, we're gonna do a Among Us collab. Do you want to join? I'm like, sure, okay, maybe. I remember once being part of a Pico Park collab. That was ages ago. That was, like, that was ages ago. Most of the content creators, fun fact, most of the content creators that were part of the Pico Park collab don't, like, don't function within the VTubing industry anymore. I'm pretty sure all of them graduated and never reincarnated.
An entire discussion even appeared on Twitter about this, on whether or not collab
Collab Martyr, do you actually expect us to become friends after collab? Kinda. Funny.
should purely be a business decision or something you should be able to do with just your friends. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but it does speak to the intentions of many
Didn't we actually have like a couple of weeks ago someone going like being mad on Twitter about the fact that like you know, collabs and friendship thing? I think we did. It's a topic that literally comes up again and again over time.
VTubers and how they appear on stream. Because to a fan, how do we tell who are real friends versus who are just collabing to social climb and rub shoulders with bigger content creators?
I like that we have like Nosagi Parrot and what was her name? She's a horse girl. Crap, I forgot. Like I hate myself. I'm so bad with VTuber names nowadays. Back in the day, it was so much easier. There was only 10. Nowadays, it's like more. And I forgot her name, but I do follow her on. I do follow her on Twitch. I was like, I tend to lurk on her streams, you know, sometimes.
It got to a point that even
oh, Demonishki. What do we have here? Old Hope, what's up with the VTubing space being so open about being leeches and only looking at other streamers as connections and literally a stepping stool for growth? Back in the day, y'all would have gotten shunned for that behavior. I mean, true. Back in the day, back before 2018, pretty much. Since 2018, things changed. You know, it is what it is.
Creators started complaining about how used they feel when they became victims of this. But VTuber wannabes weren't the only parasites. There were also Twitch e-girls. Even e-girls and Twitch streamers were using the VTuber tag on Twitch.
Oh, my favorite e-girl is XQC, actually. I remember XQC using the VTuber tag.
At one point to capitalize off of the rising trend, which gave way for a lot of these e-girls to try their hand on the medium, without really even understanding, appreciating, or participating in the culture. But if that wasn't enough, they'd repost memes, copy-paste and recycle engagement bait strats. And look, I respect it. I like reading through some of these trends and engagement baits myself, but some of them can get a little too weird for comfort. It could be vague posting about something, it could be a rage bait, it could be sympathy bait, or even virtue signaling.
Virtue signaling? No bloody way.
Sometimes they'd even join trends that are usually a guaranteed attention magnet like art raffles or more notoriously, VTuber versus IRL, who started off.
Oh my freaking god, VTuber versus IRL. I hate it here. I'm on the side of like people that are like, do we really need it? Like what's the point? Like, I'm okay with the like, I don't care if you're gonna show your booty and your boobies to like viewers and to like, you know, to entice them to follow you on your private account and then subscribe to you on your OnlyFans. I don't care about that, but like my personal, like, I don't care what you do with yourself, but like I don't like when I see it personally. I'm just like most of the VTubers I actually follow pretty much don't show that, so I'm fine with that, but like I mean some of them do, but like who cares? Not me. But at the same time, I'm like, so annoying. So you want to be like whenever VTubing became a thing, I was like, okay, so you don't want to show your face because you don't want to do makeup, you don't want to get stalkers, and you don't want you know, the issues that are related to the fact that you are a female content creator. Okay. I nearly burped. And then nowadays we just threw that out of the window, literally. And it's like, okay, so hi guys, here's my face. Do I look pretty? Say something nice about me. You know, that sort of thing, basically nowadays. You know, and I'm like, sure, whatever. Twitter. I was just like, ha ha ha, funny Twitter people, ha ha ha. You know,
innocent enough and still in line with the medium, but then they started to integrate actual flesh posting. And the moment
I actually remember what back in the days, like you would do a picture one, like a me VTuber picture and then me IRL picture. That was fun. Picture was fun.
this happened, it became a bit of a slippery slope. because then a lot of indie VTubers started to not just stop on the VTuber versus IRL trend, but started to integrate their bodies and faces as part of their regular content. And I'm not talking about the occasional hand cam or walking streams, I'm talking about IRL. I say this mostly as observation than judgment, but there's a lot of VTubers whose regular content, whether that be on their streams or on their tweets, aren't really even of their characters anymore, but rather their bodies, and it eventually falls into a pipeline of doing OnlyFans or Fanslay content.
Who is this, chat? Who is this? I have no idea.
That don't even use their VTuber models porn like what many authentic lewd VTubers do. And look, I know there's a lot of weird hate against Fanslay using VTubers now, and if the VTuber uses their actual VTuber models or just art of themselves, I think that's fair game.
Yeah, it is fair game. Good. We're on the same page.
Occasional flush posting to me is okay, especially
Same.
cosplay related ones.
Yeah, cosplay is great. Yeah. Like, actually, I'm gonna go back on what I said. Cosplay. When you, okay, no. Cosplay, when you remove your face, perfect. You just, you just like squibble, over your face, like in the Photoshop, basically, and then post it. Fantastic. I don't care. That could have been literally a fan of yours. Like, whatever. Nice cosplay is nice. Looking at nice things is nice, whatever. But like my biggest issue tends to be with the fact that people are just showing their face. Like, it's actually like we went from the fact that we don't want to show the face and to the fact that we are showing the face. It's like, why even bother? Just become a flesh tuber, whatever.
Even if it's not safe for work, especially if you've been upfront about your content, and especially if that was the natural pipeline for your career, like if you were a porn VA, for example, or a VR chat streamer. But I think if your regular content and your NSFW is just your IRL, especially with your face attached and you mark...
I don't know why, but I feel like, I don't know if Nosagi has one, but like, he should have one of those AO faces, Because this kind of looks like it, but it's not really it.
Get yourself as a VTuber, I would be inclined to think that in large part you're not really a VTuber. Of course, there are exceptions, especially when you're categorized as a live streamer who happens to have a VTuber model like Onigiri and Keisan, but it's hard not to think that way. And the thing is,
honestly, the fact that like Giri made such a smooth move from being like a VTuber to literally doing like live content. She did a great job with that. I still enjoy her cooking streams, honestly.
this trend is not...
They're like very chill. Like especially the fact that they're like in the morning, so it's like I'm gonna do like some random stuff like whatever do I do in the morning, basically. Like I do tend to do a lot of cooking in the morning, so I do like cooking and I have like Giri in the background on like my PC, literally. So
not exclusive to Western VTubing, as much as a lot of the whining traditional fans like to believe. Many indie JP VTubers actually exploit this as well. If you use the godforsaken site known as Twitter, you might have seen a lot of these.
I've seen those. That was before Twitter took away my porn privileges. I know that. That was before Twitter took away my NSFW privileges. And I've seen some of those and was like, some of them were very spicy. I can tell you that. Some of them were very spicy. Okay?
A lot of VTubers bouncing their tits and showing their full naked bodies, and it gets them lots of views. Goonbait is and always will be a tried and true method for catching the attention in the internet. But
especially in VTubing.
perhaps on a VTuber's last attempt to find viewers, some take on one of the bigger gambles, breaking what used to be a big taboo in VTubing: political commentary. You see, traditionally, VTubing was supposed to be non-political. Like, there was nothing about anime e-girls that was supposed to reflect real-world current happenings. It was supposed to be a place for escapism. You don't fucking preach about BLM and fuck ICE whenever you're live or you're tweeting, but you also don't preach about the fucking loss of Christian values or pearl clutch about sex workers. But as it is when niche nerdy things become mainstream, political people come in, from all walks and backgrounds.
I think he's talking about me. Oh no.
It's always been a thing on Twitter, but they were largely ignored up until the big 2023, when Pikami and Silvervale were harassed by Twitter slacktivists because they dared to play the wizard game. But
I remember. That was very unfortunate event.
Then other communities started to form, and then other communities that were formed to counter them. It subtly started with people like Kershaw. Peepa also got roped into it. Bro doesn't want any of this bullshit in the industry and was never really part of the entire culture war. However, the identity politics crowd deemed her to be right-leaning because she hates that this poison was infesting the industry and because Face Connect was, you know, loved by 4chan.
Yes, obviously, just like, yes, Face Connect is loved by 4chan. The people on the left side of the spectrum is like, I don't like them 4chan people. Them 4chan people are very bad. That means I don't like Face Connect. It's unfortunate I have to say this, but it's bad. And it's just like, imagine, like, honestly, the fact that 4chan enjoys Face Connect makes Face Connect just more based, because like they can just like get away with much more stuff than usual, you know, VTuber agencies, and that's like great. I enjoy. I like, actually lately I've been enjoying more Face Connect than before. You know, I have a lot of time on my hand. You know, sometimes I don't have any time.
On the other side of the aisle, there were also multiple people making their declarations, like Uki Violetta of Nijisanji EN's.
Oh, Mr. Uki Violetta, he has the heterophobia in his eyes. Remember that meme? That's from a while back. I don't think actually Uki Violetta doesn't even stream anymore. He graduated, I think. Right? Yeah, I think he is. He did.
Blatant hate for white people, and Finana's Educate Yourself incident, claiming that the Japanese term trap was transphobic. This happened
in
2022, but whatever. A lot of these politically charged incidents slowly but surely gave rise to a new breed of political figures. Now, we have seemingly right-leaning figures like Powder and Leaflet, while on the other we have Nyara and, Anna Valens, question mark? Sorry, I could not think of any left-leaning.
Maybe that's the void I have to fill in. Become bloody left-wing. Personally, I think I'm just like, you know, I feel like I'm the reasonable centrist kind of person. That's where I tend to land on the bloody compass, you know, somewhere around the center. So you know, actually, sometimes it's like slightly bottom left of the center, literally like one square away from the center. Yeah. So you know. Maybe I am the left-wing VTuber, quote unquote.
Politically charged VTubers that had like a bigger platform. There are also more on Twitter, by the way. We now have lots of political commentators in VTubing who mostly just tweets about it and occasionally does a little bit of streaming, or who doesn't stream at all. I'd explain more of the history about how this happened, but that's worth an entire video.
I wonder if you did under I'm waiting for that video. That's going to be a pretty decent video, I'm telling you.
Y'all are gonna have to settle on a super reductive, oversimplified version. All of this combined had VTubing develop its own battleground of political ideologies. Now more than ever, talking about politics is a risky yet effective way to grow your numbers, regardless of right or left. If you are a traditional VTuber fan, it's like a landfill was forming right.
Actually, it's no longer that way. You want to know why? Because the way that Twitter changed its algorithm and the way like it shows stuff, well, when you retweet stuff nowadays, it's not gonna get pushed too much, I think. Unless you have like already, pardon me. If you already have like a present audience, then if you're like trying to grow yourself and you don't have the blue check mark, I'm pretty sure it's not going to go anywhere. There you go. Piece of news over here, you know?
Outside your gated village. If you go outside the gate, you can definitely fucking smell it. It's gotten to a point that even it has attracted the attention of traditional fans who normally wouldn't participate in these kind of discussions. But in lieu of the happening being outside, some feel compelled to say their piece. Especially Nijisanji fans, because some members there are more politically driven than others. Though perhaps it was always inevitable that politics was going to invade VTuber.
It was always inevitable because of the whole thing with like, we literally had like micro version of that thing literally happening when the whole Coco China thing happened, you know? The whole life China thing happened, literally, like, you know? because we had like bunch of people being like, you know, bunch of people from China basically being mad at like whole life for, you know, the Taiwan thing. And then you also had like bunch of Western fans being like, yeah, we don't really care. Like whoever was there basically at the time. And then there was also a bunch of, oh fuck, I clicked. There was also the Japanese fans that were like, screw you. And then there was like the Taiwanese fans that were probably like, screw you, Chinese fans as well. So that was like, you know, micro political stuff, basically, you know?
So, hey, you know, if you need a quick number or follower boost, say one of the two things. The N-word, hard R, and preach about Christianity or something, or that white people need to be cold and fuck the pay.
What if I say that fuck all of humanity? Then I'm hated by both sides, right? That's like, you know, win-win situation. I'm hated by both of them.
Patriarchy, or something. But Nusagi, I hear you ask, what if I'm not North American and these politics don't apply to me? Tough luck. Pretend to be a Westoid, I guess. Or maybe be racist towards Koreans and the Chinese instead. That usually works sometimes. All these strategies...
Actually, if you're not North American, good for you. You can actually, like, talk smack about local politics, basically, and be like, actually, like, you know, you guys think this guy is based. Actually, we have much more based guy called this. Like, look at his policies. You guys gonna love him. And that's how you maybe get like some American guys being like, oh yeah, well, I love this guy, yeah. And then they realize, actually, that guy is like pro things that they don't even like. You know, like you can literally like take a piss at Americans if you want.
From copying design elements, copying and participating in rampant engagement, sympathy, and rage bait, the leeching, the trend joining, the drama farming, we'll get into that later, and the political grifting, all scream one point. Everyone wants attention.
Yeah.
Not everyone. And
well, yeah, because we live in the bloody attention economy nowadays. I like how he's making like this is a decent video essay in my opinion, and you could, if you wanted to, you could have made it much more smarter. Actually, like those are great bases for a proper essay. But then you could also like add some extra stuff on top of that, and that would like make it sound much more you know, intellectual, big brain. You know, it would make it sound more big brain, right? And that would just basically mean that people would not watch it. But now, like in this simplified version, right? It's like he can go on talking about like attention economy, the way we live in society, right? And he just says, oh yeah, because everybody wants attention. And then he goes to the next segment, you know? Like a very good simplification of like the whole goddamn situation.
I mean everyone is competing hard for the limited attention and eyes VTubing has. VTubing ultimately has a cap on the numbers of viewers.
See, I told you, bottleneck. There is a bottleneck. Like, I literally, like, at this point here, like, bloody 10 minutes ago, probably like 20 minutes with my video time, I talked about the bloody bottleneck of VTubing. And he's like, here, 10 minutes later, literally, like, saying, oh yeah, by the way, bottleneck of VTubing, the attention.
The biggest VTuber that we have that is yet to be surpassed was Gargura at 4 million subscribers. That is like less than 10 times smaller than the regular community. And it's one that hasn't really moved significantly since 2020. So everyone is a bit desperate. Everyone is struggling to keep their career sustainable and is often willing to do anything to reach the top or maintain their status quo. Even if it means betraying. Even if it means LARPing. Even if it means sacrificing your mental health. And because everyone is having a difficult time...
Man, I wish I had mental health I could sacrifice.
It leads to the next D in our pipeline, disillusionment. For the VTuber side, after the usual agency experience of being abused or sex-pested or even bullied by your own genmates, it might be a little hard to trust people again. But what is even harder is if the people you used to work with, like your genmates, started to actually be successful and climb the ladder. You know some of these people. They are not good people. How the fuck are they being rewarded? Another case, what if the acquaintance or friend that you've trusted so much that you've exposed your heart to ends up betraying you after 1 or 2 disagreements? Hell, another would be if a third-party company that you hired to deal with your shit ended up scamming you. Maybe the fans you've lovingly cultivated decides to abandon you after you're no longer the shiniest girl in the block. Or worse, if you do GFE, turn into an auntie after they just try to dox you and discover that you had a partner, or if you did something that they did not like. What does any
GFE. Oh, bloody girlfriend experience, content creators.
of this mean for a girl? Disillusionment. The magic is gone. You see the industry for what it truly is behind the scenes. Different cabals scheming, conniving, and backstabbing their way to the top.
This is like realizing that billionaires control the world when you're 14, and that your life is going to suck a very, very hard, and life kinda shit, you know? This is like, I'm 14, this is deep kind of stuff.
A bunch of
By the way, YouTube. I'm not 14, okay? Okay. You know, you have to preface that because YouTube is going a bit cuckoo, you know? Crazy stuff. YouTube algorithm going kinda crazy.
immature, high school-minded, and emotionally, intellectually stunted people who would dump an expose on your ass for a mistake that could have been talked out in private.
Yeah.
A bunch of predatory and exploitative individuals trying to siphon as much money and clout as they can from anyone they can snake out of.
Man, that was a long sentence here, you know?
This medium that used to inspire so much creative
And
spark
he's
in
still
you
going.
has begun to develop
Bro.
a negative association.
We
A
get
feeling
it.
that looms so heavy it makes you
Okay.
want to give up on this industry. And that is a very, very sad thing.
It is a very, very sad thing. Chill. Nosagi, chill, you know? I know you're depressed, Nosagi, but like, let's not make the VTubing industry as depressing as it actually is, you know? Let's still have a little bit of like, you know, shine and wonder in the bloody VTubing industry.
And if you are a fan or an audience member, it's a bit simpler. The collapse of multiple agencies you might have been a fan of, the exposés and many mistakes of the creators you've loved, the vague posting, the frequent drama that they get themselves embroiled in or started, the side comments, the questionable decisions, all piled on top of each other. It plants a seed of doubt in your head, and that seed eventually grows. You just stop liking people. You just stop trusting VTubers, stop trusting VTuber agencies. That once source of boundless joyful energy from your favorite streamer group could get spoiled by one bad Google Talkie. Suddenly, you question if your Oshis are the people you thought they were. You notice how fake a lot of things seem. It is reminiscent of celebrity culture before the internet was a thing. People loved actors. People
Actually, he does have a pretty decent point of like, you know, comparing the VTubing culture with celebrity culture, like all the celebrity culture, you know? Because there was a lot of like drama and stuff like that happening with like the older, you know, celebrity culture. Like, you know, we had the paparazzi and everything like that. Do you hear about the paparazzi nowadays? You don't hear about paparazzi. Like, paparazzi no longer exist. Literally. Like, there is no, like, I feel like there used to be much more journalism towards celebrities than it is nowadays. Like, you know, controversies and stuff like that, like, you know, who is sleeping around with who and stuff like that, you know? That used to be like, you know, the magazines of old age, basically. Like, I bet most of you people watching this video now are like, what is he talking about? Like, you probably don't even remember that, you know, the bloody paper medium of magazines, you know?
really only hated certain celebrities for superficial reasons, like, you know, Justin Bieber gay or his music
Justin Bieber gay. Or his music gay.
bad. But when
Yeah. Do you know the classic, the song called Baby by Justin Bieber? Yeah.
the internet became a thing, they started yapping, and the more they opened their mouth, they revealed how dumb, malicious, or profoundly unlikable they are. In but half a generation, their carefully crafted
What do you want? I wonder why he was showing the Bing Shilling clip.
PR and identities got broken down online because they cannot shut the fuck up. Such a thing is happening in VTubing. Even VTubers that used to be uncritiquable now have critics because of the things they do or say, and sometimes it's even because of
Okay, but like, hate is gonna hate.
things they don't do or say. Figures like Bao, Amalie, Ironmouse, Shiley, and even fucking Iago. Iago! Well, they are still beloved in the mainstream. Ironmouse,
back.
Shiley, and even fucking Iago. Iago!
Yeah, existence is pain. Yago. Indeed.
Well, they are still
I like how he like prefaced like Yago, literally like Yago. Like, can you imagine? Like, I personally couldn't imagine. Like, he was a great guy, and he still is a great guy, honestly.
love it in the mainstream, doubts about their character had been planted already, and these doubts are no longer just living in 4chan boards and circles. They're a bit more widespread now, just waiting for their next drama so they can jump like an alligator. And whether you agree or disagree with the criticisms around them, it's clear that the tides are shifting against the medium as a whole. And I think this is just a symptom of the greater point, that people are noticing. And when people notice, they do one of two things.
Honestly, I wonder like if we're gonna ever reach the point of like VTubers breaking through the glass seal of like, you know, the normies basically, and we're gonna have like, you know, I don't mean like, you know, breaking through the glass seal with boobies, like that's very easy. I mean breaking through the glass seal of like, you know, getting regular people to watch.
Step back or double down. Those that aren't unemployed or do actually touch grass prefer to step back. But because these are VTuber fans that are dedicated and parasocial to their favorites, and because these are VTubers that need their platforms to be alive, most industry members opt to actually double down. Thus, the next D happens, division. Every VTuber wants to grow, no matter fucking what. Everyone wants the industry to improve and expand, but everyone sees how to do it differently. Old school traditional VTubers and fans prefer to keep it as it is when they joined, character-driven, dismissive of drama, a space truly and purely for weebs and losers, light-hearted. Usually, these are your Hololive and small agency fans, and VTubers and VTuber fans who's been around since 2020 or 2021. Anyone that's adjacent to the JP side of the industry, really.
Honestly, that sounds so nice. That sounds like a dream paradise wonderland, you know?
But newer fans want to see it change. Bereft of idol culture, no parasocialism, able.
I don't see like that's newer fans. And then you have me here thinking like, how do we break the bloody glass seal and we have like all of the stupid people watching VTubers without boobies? You know, like how do we do that?
to show your faces, sanitized. These people came from the Twitch and Western streamer culture.
Yeah.
So these two types of fans see certain acts or cultural aspects differently. For a few examples, traditional fans hate the trend hopping and engagement bait and the VTuber versus IRL because it's not something that VTubers of their era would do. It muddies how a VTuber could be counted and what a VTuber even means. Whereas newer fans absolutely enjoy it or don't mind. Newer fans hate a lot of the JP-sourced cultures of VTubing such as lolly, idol culture, and even the character bits, whereas traditional.
I like the character bits. Twitch viewers are unfortunate beings. How sad. And I'm not saying all of them. There's probably like a significant number of them that have been like around VTuber culture since 2021. And not just like they're like, yeah, back in the days it was good. Nowadays it's kind of bad.
Fans are absolutely okay with these and even love parts of it. Traditional fans wants to keep real-world affairs and politics out of their anime girls and values professionalism and orderliness. Whereas newer fans tend to value the lawlessness and wants to have current affairs follow them into their brand a lot of the.
See, I personally think with like the third point is very hard because it's like, it would get very boring when you keep like real life out of like the VTuber culture. I think like some aspects of politics can be fun. Like for example, okay, hear me out. World Cup. We had this whole thing with like World Cup, right? Recently, where you had a lot of VTubers watching World Cup, reacting to it and stuff like that. When it comes with like, if you think about this from traditional way of VTubing, that's a no-go. That's a no-go, literally area basically. Like, it's too IRL. It's like World Cup itself is very political in a way. Like, I don't think, like, I bet casual fans liked it, but, like, if you think about, like, this framework that Nosaki is using here, the whole World Cup reacting thing wouldn't be, like, liked by them in theory, but it was liked, I think. So, you know, that's, like, one of those points. Like, there are some aspects of real life that can be part of VTubing and, like, are great, you know?
Time. This is VTubing's very specific brand of politics, and you might even notice that it has a very interesting reflection onto actual real-world politics. My perspective is that old fans were taken in by VTubing's very niche appeal. VTubing had its set culture, similar to any
Yeah.
community. Its target demographic were originally people like me.
See, so like, funny thing is that like you can connect the time of VTubing becoming popular with the same time of anime becoming kinda pee pee poo poo, because of the fact that you had a lot of like newer anime fans, quote unquote fans. You know, like I don't really believe anybody is like I don't think many people that like, okay, if you've seen less than 100 anime, you're not an anime fan. That's what I'm gonna say. That's like the bare minimum I'm gonna say, you know. But yeah, let's continue with like what's Saki gonna say here, you know.
Weebs, nerds, and losers. But when VTubing got popular, many opportunistic e-girls as well as predatory businessmen saw a golden opportunity. And when the large influx of these people came, they chose to dismiss many of its cultural aspects and turned it into an aesthetic choice or a brand new buzzword that they can pitch to investors or something. Some of the new people coming in aren't really even weebs. They're tourists that just saw what looks to be the cool new fresh hip thing or just wanted to have the feeling of identifying with something.
We love tourists. Yeah.
I always mourn the death of a culture that were made by nerds and losers, because when said cultures became mainstream, a lot of what makes it soulful gets removed for something more normal.
Yeah, it does. That's literally what happens. That is like one of the saddest things that happens like nowadays. It's like, yeah, you're part of something fun. Something fun becomes popular because it's fun. Money gets in. Money changes the thing. It's no longer fun. You have to find a new thing. You're depressed until you find new thing. Welcome to the world. Welcome to 2026. The utopia that has been said to happen in, I don't know, in what book. Probably one book did say that in 2026 we're going to have like a utopia or a dystopia. It looks like a dystopia to me.
The current development of VTubing is just one of the mainstream's many victims, in my opinion. But at the same time, it's not like I liked all parts of the traditional culture too. For example, while I don't mind GFE or parasocial relationships and I even think it gets overly demonized, I also think that it's weird some traditional fans hate it when their Oshis talk to the opposite sex like a Holostar or Nijisanji member. That some people engage too deeply with it or have deluded themselves into thinking that these VTubers, these girls, are actually single. The tribalistic parts of idol culture is something I don't like. I don't like how certain bad situations are often downplayed because they don't like the negative air of drama, and they perpetuate this forced air of sanitation. And in relation to that, I don't like how hugboxy it feels most of the time. Some of these people actually worship the multi-million-dollar agency and treat these adult women like they're toddlers. Criticism, even constructive, is not welcome. At the same time, something that I agree with the newer fans is self-expression. Being able to talk about problems in the industry is a good thing. Being able to do more with the concept of piloting a virtual character is cool, to a certain extent. For example, I think LewTubing is fine, but even saying that is going to give me fierce pushback from traditional fans, and at the same time, it isn't.
I think LewTubing is fine, especially when you keep it in places that LewTubing is made for.
Enough to count me in as welcome in the newer fans' tribe. But why I am talking about this isn't to broadcast my opinion, it's to explain that my situation is only one of many, and it's a consequence of this big divide. Nuances are thrown out of the window to favor agendas and broader, more extreme narratives. You, as a fan or a VTuber, are categorized based off of vibes, based off of the VTubers that
Vibe check, everybody. Vibe check. Do you have the correct vibe of the time, you know? Are you going with the correct narrative? No, you don't seem to. Well, too bad. I don't like your vibe. Imagine like people. I hate the fact that this like so many people are literally just like 1 second vibe check. No, nothing happened. Vibe check gone. Literally like you failed.
You watch, and you are supposed to help the collective push the agenda even if there are things you disagree with on your own tribe. I remember back in the day, there used to be cross-pollination between cultures. Holo and Twitch VTuber fans, for example, were like curious and generally welcoming citizens that wanted to meet with each other and see the sides of their nations. It used to be a big deal, and an entire event even, when a Hololive member would collab with a VShojo member or a Nijisanji EN member.
That was That was fun.
For example, do we all remember the Romeo and Juliet memes of Kiara and Pomo? But again, as time passed on, the differences grew too big. Incidents such as the big Nijisanji EN Discord leak, the V-Shoujo Nuxtaku situation, Salengate, the Wizard Game incident, and other politically laced drama created a sense of animosity between each other. And yes, there are still traditional fans that like new VTubers and new VTuber fans that like traditional VTubers, but we rarely see cross-cultural pollination happen anymore. And
That is very true. When was the last time, like... Yeah, I like, especially the fact that I don't really watch Hololive nowadays. Like, I watch maybe like 1, 2 Hololive members nowadays. Sometimes maybe 3, but that's like it, you know. And I have not seen like any like collabs between, like, you know, Hololive and VTubers from Twitch. Oh, pardon me.
I think that's a sad thing. Of course, between the traditional and new fans, they have their own sub-factions, right? Incidents like the Cinderdoki drew circles in the indie sphere, how that fandom doesn't even know if they should like Filian or not. The Holostars Axin and Sameko Sabadrot also tore a divide in the traditional group. Both are not as unified as you might think. I could draw a map of these groups of people, as well as their factions, but that would require me to go full autist mode and speculate like a motherfucker.
I want to see that map, honestly. I would be like, okay, so we have... Nah, I know those motherfuckers. Yep, okay. And over here we have the Twitch people, and they blew up. Okay. They blew up, I see. By blew up, I mean they literally got split apart, like, into 1,000 pieces.
Maybe I'll do that in another video or something. As a whole, these frequent clashes, these attempts to gain popularity, the disillusioned people who see the industry for what it is, culminate in the last D. Drama. Aside from political grifting...
In the last dick, okay. Oh, political grifting, engagement baiting, copycatting, virtue signaling, goonerism.
Engagement baiting, copycatting, virtue signaling, aesthetic stealing, and goonerism, there is also drama farming.
Yeah.
Now obviously, I'm part of this problem. I've been making videos about VTubing since late 2021, and
I remember that. I've seen those videos.
Didn't start covering drama a lot. I was broadly focused towards commentary and recalling events, but during the big 2024, I pivoted somewhat. And now I stream at least once a week talking about the drama that happens in the industry, and I upload highlights and clips onto my second channel. I have a passion for autistically talking about issues, events, and wider topics about VTubing as a culture and medium. That's what my main channel is for. But me doing drama was a natural step in the pipeline. And the thing is, it's successful. In fact, it is so fucking successful that sometimes even my highlights channel actually beats my main channel in terms of monthly viewership. But
Wow.
the thing is, I'm not the only one that did this, especially in 2024 and 2025. In fact, I would like to think I'm one of the slower ones. Kyo and False ID are gone, and some of the drama-hating parts of the industry celebrated that, but the thing is, they left a massive gap in the market. People that were worse or better were eventually going to replace them, and that gap, that demand, was filled in by creators like Kazahana and Lydia. Fucking
yeah, that's true. That's true. I actually heard of those two. I've seen like some of their videos around as well. So yeah, it has been filled. Honestly, the fact that Kyo literally left the whole VTuber news and started doing gaming stuff. I think he does gaming stuff nowadays. I have no idea. It's insane.
Even Katliente to a certain extent. And that's only on the YouTube side of things. The drama coverage and discussion on the Twitter side is inarguably 100 times worse. On Twitter, it's not just drama and news tubers that talks about news and drama, it's fucking everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone has something to say about current event. So in VTubing, whenever something bad happens and if you're on the goddamn site, you're going to know or hear about it one way or another. And
Yeah, I'm gonna hear about it. I literally like pop up on Twitter. Oh, something happened. Oh, 50 reposts. Ah, I see. Let me repost as well. Just, you know, just like casually, like maybe I'm gonna get a follower or two, maybe a bot or two, you know.
the sheer number of people drama peddling makes the negative air around the industry thicker. So much so that 1 week without major drama is actually a godsend. VTuber fans can actually breathe for a bit, and I actually get to watch some streams. Blocking
Wow.
people like me isn't really even enough to stop drama from appearing in your timeline at this point. Again, you will hear about drama one way or another. Your timeline might even get full of it, and it's only a matter of time and topic that you will eventually participate in it as well. The main point of this particular D, the core of it, is that negativity sells. Agenda posting, publicly throwing shade at people you don't like but did nothing to you, creating Google Docs for the most nothing burger issues, ignoring healthy communication with your peers so you can make a big stink about it, virtue signaling, and vague posting about the bad thing are all meta strats employed by VTubers big and small, even the ones that you know. Whether you want to admit it or not, a lot of VTubers start drama or exactly know what they're doing by saying or doing something inflammatory, whether for attention or for their own unspoken agenda. All of this compounds. Because people are having a difficult time gaining attention, there's going to be drama. Because people are disillusioned, there's going to be drama. Because people are divided, there is going to be drama. When the industry is filled and dominated by high school-minded people, this becomes a toxic and deliberate self-sustaining cycle. I think these are the main reasons why VTubing has become so negative. I'm sure you have something to say that I might have missed, but I think whatever you can think of will roughly fit into one of the 4 Ds.
Yeah, it would. It would actually fit in one of the 4. Yeah. He did go through this quite well, honestly. Yeah, I think he did go through this quite well. There's like he filled all of the gaps that create like the whole bloody atmosphere of current VTubing, basically.
Again, admittingly, I am part of this cycle, but I guarantee...
Don't worry, everybody's part of the problem. The only solution is the ultimate solution of everybody just having their internet turned off, you know?
99% of the creators and fans in this space are all part of the cycle too. Many of the VTubers you like might have also politically grifted or currently is, might have also done bad engagement bait or sympathy or rage baits up till now, might have virtue signal.
Everybody does that. Everybody does like bad political takes, bad virtue signaling, bad like... Everybody sometimes sides on the wrong side of the history, you know? Who cares?
And still do, might have grandstanded and still do, might have started or peddled drama and still do. We just need to be a bit honest with ourselves. Everyone has sort of a hand in setting precedents that made the industry a tiny bit worse. Worse in this case is subjective, but the discussion of it still breeds that same air of conflict, of negativity. And I think that's why we can't go back to the way it used to be. We were just so optimistic and captured by the magical nature of VTubing. Now we don't have that figurative...
Mate, stop talking like it is. You're making me fucking nostalgic about the good old days. Back in the days, you know?
Anesthesia anymore. However, even if that's the case, there is still a way to engage in VTubing that might preserve a little bit of that magic if it's still on your person. And it's to uninstall Twitter.
No, nothing can be done here, mate. Sorry. No. I'm keeping it. I need it.
Seriously, just, uninstall Twitter. 99% of the drama comes from Twitter, okay?
It does, I know.
A less effective yet sort of valid way is to block people. You don't want to hear about drama? Block it. You don't like certain...
Actually, no. Don't block people. Mute them. Because if they ever come to your, your page, they will see that they are blocked. Right? And... I don't think you want people to see just seeing that they are blocked. Instead, just mute them, ignore them. You know, it's like a shadow ban. It's shadow block. There you go.
VTubers block them and their fans. Yeah. To a certain extent, the happiest remaining VTuber fans are the ones that are ignorant of the bullshit that is going on in Twitter and usually just stick to their own circles. Clip watchers who only watch the occasional VTuber clips or don't give too much of a fuck to delve deep into threads. Casuals who engage with a little bit of everyone. Stream watchers that focus their energy entirely on the VTuber and their group streams and only engage with the peers and community instead of everything else. Unironically, the one effective way that I've noticed the happier parts of the industry do is just to ignore everything else. No engaging with it, just ignoring it. Try doing that in 2026. Focusing all your energy into having fun instead of anything else was unironically the source of positivity in 2020.
Do you remember this clip? This was a very infamous clip at the time.
The rest of the world was negative, especially with the pandemic, but VTubers allowed an outlet to be able to have fun by ignoring the world for a bit. In a sense, just do the same thing that we've all done before, albeit more deliberate this time. Despite the flawed nature of VTubing and its people, I still call it my home. There's a reason I keep coming back to it even after my 10th graduation slash.
Oh, I remember his. I remember when he wiped his channel from the existence of the planet and then came back.
Hiatus. It's a fucked up place, but there's life here. It's still beautiful.
There is life here. There is a reason why I reincarnated my ass multiple times. That was a good video. Yeah. Honestly, I should have watched it like 1 month ago. I should have. I didn't. But like, honestly, I should like. I enjoy watching Nosagi. Like after that last video that I watched, I realized that like I like reacting to him, and then I'm just gonna react more to him. You know, why not? He probably doesn't care either way. He doesn't even know I exist. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, you can. Whoa, hold up. I doubled the time. Oh no. 1 hour video, whatever. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment down below, tell me what you thought, tell me what you want to see, and you can also check out Nosagi. The link to the video is in the description. And yeah, thank you for watching, goodbye, and that's it, goodbye.